Let's meet the starting lineup for the visiting Los Angeles Clippers. At power forward, Nerlens Noel. At the other forward position, Trevor Ariza. At point guard, Jeff Teague. At center, Jonas Valanciunas. At the other guard position, DeMar DeRozan. And now your Los Angeles Lakers starting lineup. At shooting guard, standing 6'5", number 23, Wesley Matthews. At power forward, standing 6'10", number 9, Serge Ibaka. And forward from Spain, 7 feet, number 16, Pau Gasol. At the other guard position, standing 6'1", number 2, Eric Bledsoe. At the other forward position, standing 6'8", number 1, Paul George.
Welcome, everybody, to the day we've all been looking forward to. The start of a new NBA season on 2K Sports. Hi, this is Kevin Harlan alongside Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, our Hall of Fame sideline reporter David Aldridge. And a special treat here tonight. Joining us courtside is 5-time NBA champion Kobe Bryant. Kobe, great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
No, I appreciate it, man. It's always a pleasure to stop by and help out.
We're going to have a lot of fun tonight.
I'm sure.
Western Conference battles always fun. This time it's the Los Angeles Lakers intent on protecting home court. And this matchup with Los Angeles, hard to believe, just the first game of the NBA's 82-game regular season schedule. They could only manage a single win in 4 tries against these guys last year.
2 division rivals facing off tonight. They'll see one another 4 times this season.
This is definitely the first of many tonight. And in these first games, you always try to set the tone and take that mental and psychological edge.
Here are the 5 for the Clippers. They've got Trevor Ariza. Jonas Valanciunas is out there with Nerlens Noel. Then there's Teague, and it's DeRozan in at the 2 spot. Now here's Bledsoe. Bounces high off the rim and drops.
And the D just a step slow, reacting to the step back.
Kobe, that fadeaway jump shot of yours is such a foundational part of your game. What's the key to that particular shot? And who's carrying the torch for that shot now?
Well, yeah, the fadeaways. There's different ways to shoot the fadeaway. There's a Hakeem Olajuwon way of shooting the fadeaway. There's a Michael way of shooting the fadeaway.
Oscar used to do it. I know you.
Oscar used to do it quite a bit. So I try to use bits and pieces from each, depending on the defender that I'm facing. But yeah, there's certain players that are carrying that shot now. LeBron shoots the fadeaway quite often, as does KD. He shoots it a lot. Clay will shoot it. Kawhi will shoot it quite a bit off of pull-up jumpers and things of that sort. So there are a lot of players doing it.
George with the ball. Now guarded by DeRozan. And George kicks to Gasol. There's a good screen. Shot clock at 5. Gasol a screen. And here's Matthews from the arc. It's hauled in by Los Angeles. Well, Kobe, something that's such a huge tool in the NBA and the team's offense is the pick and roll, the screen roll game. You've done it as well as anybody. Just how are the nuances and the attention to detail important to make that play work?
Well, it's really important, but the screen roll today is run differently than it was, say, when Utah was running it with Stockton and Malone. What you're seeing now is more of a spread floor screen roll action where it makes rotations very difficult because you have to rotate off the shooters at a distance.
Right.
So now what you tend to see more teams try to down pick and roll coverages and sending guys to one side of the floor and try to play the screen roll coverage with 2 men and try to not have 3 guys in the action. You have to rotate and now push your team behind. right? And that it's a dance of, can you play the screen roll with just 2 guys? And on offense, can I force you to have a third guy come in and rotate? If I can do that offensively, then you're behind.
Now here's Bledsoe. Jonas Valanciunas has been able to get his shot to go. And Kobe, how did you learn to watch tape? Because there are guys now watching tape and they'll just go, and you wonder if it's really even sinking in.
Trial and error.
Yeah, right. But really, that was it.
Trial and error. You know, you start looking at things, you start saying, man, like if I'm watching an edit on a player and I watch one particular game and then I look at the next game, man, he's doing the same thing. And the next night, he's doing the same thing. Hold on, let me go back and watch. And then you start looking for consistent behaviors or patterns in their behavior. And then you think, okay, maybe that's something that's a tendency for him. Let me go back and check. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles. Oh my God! Yeah,
There
that's
it is.
it.
Here's the pattern.
Right. So what if I interrupt him between his first and second dribble and throw him off a rhythm? What'll happen then? Right. What if I know he's gonna go 1-2, turn right shoulder? I let him go 1-2. Now I jump to his right shoulder. Now you can't turn there. What happens then? You throw them off of their pattern.
And that's the kind of play you just do not want to give up defensively. You lose the possession and give up a quick 2 at the other end.
Boy, for a guy like yourself who made an incredible amount of three-point shots during your career, what is it like watching Steph Curry? Just how much has he changed the league? It was always watching the dunks of Jordan. Now we got kids that want to shoot the ball from distance.
Yeah. Shooting the ball from distance now has kind of become like a home run in baseball, right? Where it's exciting to watch the ball in flight. I think it's great because it just adds more love to the game, more things that players could do that, or kids can do that can't dunk, right? It's like dunking was the thing, right? But now the kids that can't dunk, there's something else that's fun. There's something else that's entertaining, like shooting threes. Right? So
But boy, that takes a lot of work. Huh?
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, it's a lot of repetition.
Hundreds of shots daily.
Yeah, it's a lot of repetition. And, you know, Steph, you watch him out there playing and making all these shots. He's put in hours and hours and hours of hard work and continues to do so.
And the 3 ball is good. Bledsoe's got 9.
Against length, he does a nice job of creating just enough separation.
Yeah, he's so creative with the ball and his ability to shake free from bigger guys to knock down those triples. Boy, that's a thing of beauty there.
DeRozan passes to Noel, and he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line. With that 3-point shooting on the rise, Kobe, if you were coming into the league right now, would you try to lean more in that direction than the incredible acrobat that you were when you were in your prime?
It depends who I was playing against. You know, I try to build my game to be able to do all those things.
And you could. I mean, you're like one of the few guys that could do all.
Yeah, so it just depends on who I was matching up against, which determines then how I would try to punish the defense.
I like that word.
Yeah. I was trying to think of a softer one. And I was like, yeah, no, punish is a good one.
You're honest. Now, here's Matthews. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. And with all the different technological advances in the league, you see a lot of player and coaches now reviewing clips and tablets and a lot of film sessions. I know you used to study a lot of the league's videotapes. How much easier is film study now, say, from the time in the late 90s when you got in the NBA?
It's so much easier.
Really?
Oh, my God. When I used to get in the hotel rooms, you used to have to call the front desk. They used to roll up the TV on the wheels.
With the VCR machine.
With the VCR connected to it, right? And I have to have all of these tapes. And you got to put the tape in, and you got to rewind it, and you got to fast forward it, and rewind it.
Yeah.
Now it's just everything's right there in front of you, right? And it's very easy to skip and go to the next game and then jump back to the game before or fast forward to the fourth quarter. I mean, it's so easy now.
Kobe, you were a player who lived in the gym. What motivated you as you go back and look at all those hours you spent in the gym to do that, to follow that path?
I loved it. I loved the game. It wasn't a matter of working hard. I didn't realize I was working hard until like my second or third year in the league when I realized here in the NBA, a lot of players don't do that.
Right.
It was kind of a big shock to me. Like I assumed everybody in the NBA
just worked hard.
Yeah, but to me it wasn't hard work. It was like, I love doing this. Like there's no place on earth I'd rather be than be here in this gym with a basketball in the hoop.
But the greats are always the hardest workers, aren't they? I mean, right, have you ever seen a great player who is not the hardest worker on their team?
No, I've seen players have great seasons. And, and then the next season, it's
they
not
fall.
so much.
Right.
And then they have another great one. And the consistency isn't there. The truly great players love what they do, and that looks like hard work to the outside world.
Did you enjoy playing the game? There was so much you put into the game, but did you enjoy the game?
I did. I enjoyed the game. I loved playing, the competition and all that, the getting ready and all that. But I enjoyed practice more.
Did you?
I did. I enjoyed training and practice more than I did the game.
And looks like the illegal pick was set. Yep, that's right. That'll get their attention.
And that's a tough one, but on those illegal screen calls, the defender's never going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Those are facts, man. I mean, if he's sliding his feet just a skosh, the refs are going to whistle him for it.
Catching up on the changes for Los Angeles. Robin Lopez is checked in for Gasol. Green comes in for Wesley Matthews. And it's Patrick Beverley in for Eric Bledsoe. Now, here's DeRozan. He has 6. And the rejection by Ibaka.
The size, the timing of Ibaka, tailor-made for protecting the rim.
Green with a screen on DeRozan. Here's George. The pick gave him all the room he needed, and he knocks down the J. George has got his first points of the game. And look at how the hustle game has been going for Los Angeles.
They've come out in attack mode on the defensive end. They've applied pressure and forcing turnovers.
The other thing that's helped them early tonight are the points they've been able to convert off turnover.
Vucevic with the bucket. Well, Kobe, you look at all the former defensive player of the year, and they're almost always big men. You were a 9-time first-team all-defensive selection in the NBA. Do you think guards sometimes get overlooked at the impact they have in a game and a play?
Yeah, they definitely do.
All the time, huh?
I think the bigs have a huge responsibility in protecting the rim, and those things are very easy to measure.
Right, block shots and
blocks,
right,
and
exactly.
whether you're
Rebounding,
altering shots or defensive rebounds. For guards, it's tougher. But still in all, there's some guards out there who have done it. Michael and Gary Payton and Kawhi Leonard, I count him as a guard. They're just phenomenal defensive players.
Where does that mindset come from, that defensive mindset, when you're an offensive gifted player like yourself?
Well, I think that's a truly competitive person. Some players will call themselves competitive, but you're not truly competitive if you only compete at one end of the floor. That's not what true competitive people do.
Patrick Patterson, he's checked in for the Lakers. Cephalosha comes in for George. And then for the Clippers, Nene comes in for Trevor Ariza. And Lee's subbed in for DeMar DeRozan.
Boy, I love the aggressive mindset Beverly has. I mean, that's really what makes him special. He's not afraid of getting bumped, especially when he's going to the bucket.
And the trend around the league, Kobe, is more offense, more three-pointers, certainly spacing, fluid offense. Scoring is up around the league in a measurable way from, it seems like, year to year. Do you like the way this is trending, or do you think the NBA should maybe put a governor on this, harness it in just a little bit?
Well, I think it'll swing back to the way,
Do you?
Yeah, because the game has gone through that progression before. It's constantly evolving. And so I think you'll see it swing back eventually. You'll have a couple teams that are just big and may have a dominant post player, and all of a sudden you're going inside, and then that team will win a championship, and then the rest of the teams in the league will try to copycat the way the game is played that way. Then things will swing back. So it's just natural evolution of the game, I think.
Kobe, the league seems to be moving away from isolation basketball, sometimes called hero ball, in favor of more ball movement, more of a fluid offense. What do you make of that trend?
Well, I think it's the right thing. If you look at the way the Knicks played, for example, when they had Bill Bradley, Busher, Phil was coming off the bench.
Well, you are a historian. You love the history of the game, don't you?
Oh, my God.
I mean,
yes.
I can just tell working with you.
Yeah. Holtzman was coaching. You had Frazier out there. They moved the ball. Everything was predicated on ball movement, as was the Celtics with Red Auerbach. And then in the 80s, things changed a little bit. You start going to more isolation ball, where guys would post deep and force the double coverage to come all the way down to them, and then you start moving the ball around. Now you start seeing a spread offense, where the ball's moving again like it was when the Knicks were playing and the Celtics were playing. And so, I think it just depends on the style of defense that you're seeing and the personnel that you have. I think that determines your style of play.
And how about the way Vucevic leaps off the floor? Showing no respect or remorse when he attacks the rim.
Now, here's Green. He's been patient so far, nothing yet on the scoreboard. And Beverly kicks to Patterson. Los Angeles with another miss. Clippers trail by 7. Kobe LeBron said he learned so much about how to approach the game when you shared the floor on Team USA. What was it like playing with a guy like him, as you also played with Jordan, and then going up against him all those years?
Well, I think it was a shocking experience for them because I don't think they realized how much I talk trash. So,
No,
yeah,
what?
I don't think they knew because, you know, when you from a distance, you say, Kobe, we thought you were really quiet and all some stuff, and you get to practice, and I just don't shut up. And I'm just saying really brutal things about their game. And it's just, you know, they're getting really ticked off. But
Yeah,
then,
because you were right.
yeah,
Well,
but
you're
then the
honest.
intensity of practice goes up another level, and then we'd all go out to dinner, and then the next morning, you know, we come into the meeting, and I've already been working out for 2 hours. So then they see that, and then, you know, D Wade would come up and say, hey man, I want to join you in your workouts. What time are we going? 5 a.m. I'd be down there working out, and Brian said, I want to come too. But Brian would show up, and then Melo would show up, and all slowly but surely, we have our whole USA team in the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning
What a
training.
constructive time, I would think.
Oh, it was
for those other
beautiful.
players.
But it was fun for all of us because we got a chance to hang around each other and think about the competition, right? So now when we come back to the NBA, fans are getting a better product, right? Because we've all been working out and pushing each other and getting better off of each other. So now when we step on the court to compete against each other, that means we have to take our games to another level.
That's a great story. That's a great story. Now, here's Beverly. Nene unable to get his shot to go. Lopez kicks to Green. He sticks that one in from 20 feet away. Green's got his first basket of the night.
And a lot of scoring here early on. This is the type of game the fans love to see.
Tell you what, Greg, it's getting to the point where you assume every shot is going to go down. I mean, nobody's missing out there.
Okay, 2 hands for safety. That's what they say, right?
That's right. He was ultra safe with that dunk, no question.
And he should be. I mean, remove all doubt. Get it down, hard, and simple.
Lopez a screen. Cephalosha kicks to Patterson. Hits the three-point bomb. Patterson's got his first 3 points of the game.
How on earth did they let him get that wide open?
The feet to Vucevic. Lee outside. Back to Vucevic. Over Lopez. Tried to bank it in, but he misses.
And that one gives them a +5 rebound advantage, Kevin.
Pretty clear. They're dominating that area. They've come out with a lot more energy and effort so far.
The three from Cephalosha. That shot, no good. So the Clippers will take it the other way. They've been struggling here on offense.
Yeah, a bit of a dry spell for sure.
Vucevic, and slam dunk by Vucevic.
Being aware there, excellent recognition, fantastic playmaking leading to the nice shot.
Beverly dishes to Cephalosha. Here's Lopez. Used the shot fake to create the angle, but couldn't get it to fall. Tucker. That one, no good. It's been all about Eric Bledsoe for Los Angeles. He comes away with 11 points in the quarter and is showing no signs of fatigue. And we'll be right back after this. And Serge Ibaka, becoming known for his shooting ability now, he talked about the confidence his teammates and his coach instilled in him.
He trusts you. Every time he passes the ball, when you don't shoot, he's screaming you, shoot ball. Then next time what? You will shoot. And if you miss, you say, yeah, good shot. You know, and your coaches in the practice talking to your teammates.
Well, if you wonder how much difference a coach can make for a player, there it is, huh?
You heard it in Serge's voice, too. That confidence has already been planted in him. That voice telling him, shoot the ball, is now in his own head. He's going to be just fine.
And the first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway. And from what we've seen so far from the Lakers, guys, what are your thoughts?
I mean, an interesting first quarter. The pressure D seems to be causing a lot of turnover.
Just jumped all over him, Greg. I mean, pounced on him, using their length and quickness to come away with those steals.
Patrick Patterson is out there with Robin Lopez. Then it's Henderson. Then it's Thabo Cephalosha. And it's Beverly in at the point guard. That's who's in the game for the Lakers. Well, it seems like with more threes and more skill-based play, the The league is adapting more of a European style of play. You grew up in Italy, Kobe. You know about that style. You appreciated that style. How did that impact your personal development as a player?
Well, tremendously. I mean, if you look at the era in which I grew up in Italy, you look at the players that came out of it. So myself, Pau Gasol, Manu Ginobili. I mean, there's a lot of players that grew up in that same time frame that play the game fundamentally sound, because I think all of the coaching, all the coaches here in America, are doing camps and clinics for coaches overseas.
Like QB Brown, right?
Exactly.
He would always go overseas in the summer.
Exactly. And so we were products of that teaching. So all of our coaches growing up were implementing the fundamentals and the basics of the game taught by these amazing American coaches. And so we were kind of fortunate in terms of the time that we grew up.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with David Aldridge.
Well, we know the Clippers are one of the best teams in the league, but are they good enough to win it all? Coach Doc Rivers talked about overcoming the super teams they face. He said the big three in Boston, put them together, bam, we won. We had Miami, Golden State, but there are teams that still poke through. Dallas did it, and that's what we're trying to do. Kevin?
And with Doc in control, the Clippers, DA, they'll always be in contention for a title. Thanks so much for that terrific report. And Kobe, while those coaches were imparting the fundamentals abroad, did that get lost in translation, you think, here in the States?
Well, I think they just took it for granted. I think players took it for granted, and you start seeing the teaching start slipping. It's like, you know, you have a parent that's constantly telling you to clean your room. After a while, you start tuning out the parent.
Yes.
And I think a lot of that is what happened here in America, which is why you see some of our fundamental skills erode over time.
Are you saying that your girls, your 14, your 11, they tune you out?
Oh my God, yes. I can say something a million times, but if Beyonce says it one time,
Yeah. It's law.
that's it. Like, dude, I've been saying the same thing for years. No one listens to me.
Here is Bledsoe after the made shot from Jonas Valanciunas. Lee with the steal. Here's Noel. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him. A lot of different ways to lead in the NBA, Kobe. It seems like your leadership style evolved over the course of your career. Talk about that aspect of your game.
Well, in the first half of my career, I was more of a tactician, more floor general. And then the second half of my career, I had to really start thinking about the emotions of the group and connecting with the group more and thinking more outside in as opposed to inside out. But I was also, I was very tough on the guys. I wasn't there to make new friends. I was there to help you be the best player you can be, to help us win the championship.
Is it tough sometimes to have a guy that you were close to take some harsh criticism?
No, because the goal is what? To win a championship. This is why we're here. This is why I'm sitting in this leadership position. I owe it to the team to help us get in that direction. And we can sit here and be nice to each other and tell each other what we think we want to hear. And then at the end of the season, we can all hug each other and say, you know what, we'll get them next time.
Out of bounds, the Lakers will take possession. And if you're wondering where the points are coming from here tonight, here's a breakdown in the scoring between the front court and back court tonight for Los Angeles.
And the front line carrying the load offensively. They always say reward the big men and credit the guards for getting them the ball and enabling these guys to fill it up.
You know, Kobe, you played 20 years in the NBA. Sports medicine and training becoming increasingly important for extending careers, keeping guys on the floor. How far has that science come in the time from you when you entered the league until the time that you retired last year?
Well, it helped me play 20 years.
Yeah, right.
You know?
But different methods all the way, huh?
Different methods all the way. I mean, it's when I first came in the league and understanding what sports medicine was at the time and the research on recovery, and as the years went on, more science research started coming out on the benefits of contrast therapy, of ice baths, and surgical procedures. Like, you know, if I would have ruptured my Achilles years ago, I never would have come back from that. You know, now, you know, my Achilles, even as I sit here today, it's like I never hurt it.
No kidding.
It's amazing.
But they'll get another chance. 2 on the clock. That shot wide open. Henderson's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3.
How about the passing? They are moving the ball without any thought, without any individual.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. My
And guys, I don't know that this is the time for that kind of flair. In a close game, the important thing is to get the 2 points, not necessarily the dramatics.
Oh, come on. He had to go for that, didn't he? My goodness.
Yeah, I'm with you, Kevin, there. I mean, I can't fault the guy for adding a little flavor to things. I'm fine. Even if he'd have missed it, I don't mind him taking a chance to spruce it up a little bit.
It's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
All right, a chance to check out stats for Gasol. Good season for him last year. He was around 12 points a game, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists. And some pretty good numbers, guys. He's certainly making a contribution.
Better than expected. He still has a ways to go, but I like what I'm seeing right now.
They've hit every one of their free throws here in the second quarter. Very important when you're trailing.
Catching up on the changes for Los Angeles. Serge Ibaka, he's checked in for Patterson. And it's Paul George in for Gerald Henderson.
Well, the former Kentucky Wildcat Noel is a phenomenal defensive player who's really starting to find himself on offense as well.
And the rejection by Noel. Lakers shooting their 5th and 6 free throws of the game.
And a season ago, they hit about 75% of their free throws.
That free throw good from Gasol. Hey, Kobe, in recent years, we've seen a lot of players choosing in free agency to join up, join forces, join friends. They're talented players. You know, think of Durant and Golden State, the big 3 with LeBron going down to Miami. What are your thoughts on that trend?
Well, you know, everybody's got to do what they feel is best for them. You know, personally, it wasn't really my cup of tea. You know, I'd much rather compete against those guys and do it that way. You know, if winning in LA wasn't going to happen, then it just wasn't going to happen. You know, I wasn't going to leave and go someplace else and join forces to try to win a championship.
How about recruiting players, like say, hey, come to the Lakers and you and I can do something special here?
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's fine. I mean, that happens. You know, players talk to each other, you know, play with each other. But it never crossed my mind to try to recruit another top player that I'm competing against.
Interesting.
You know, like never. Like I've always wanted to compete against them. So that's a little strange to me.
Clippers trail by 4. Teague with the ball. He hasn't scored yet. That, I'm sure, will change. Ariza kicks to Noel. Passes to Valanciunas. Misses off the right iron. And you think, Kobe, of these super teams, it's like they need backup. Like a buddy, like walking down the hall in high school with the bigger guy, right? I don't sense you ever...
No, but it's like, you know, growing up, I watched Magic and Michael go at it. I watched Magic and Bird go at it. I don't want to see them play together. Personally, I don't want to see that.
Right.
Like, what would my childhood be if Magic and Bird played on the same team? What would we be watching?
Magic's Lakers, Jordan's Bulls,
I mean,
Bird's Celtics.
Yeah. I mean, it's you know,
Not so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so is Miami.
If you ask Larry, you ask Magic, you ask Michael, they'd much rather compete against each other, right? Because you bring out the best in each other. They would have won every single championship from now until the day they retire if they played together, right? But that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is the competition.
And your team.
Yes.
Has not made another 3 since the one he drilled in the first, but still, you got to defend him from beyond the arc.
Talk, Kobe, about some of the great one-on-one scores. You might be the best ever, actually, but when you take a look at the crop now, who are some good guys in that one-on-one category that you like?
Kyrie's sensational. Yeah,
Great handle. How about his handle? Like one of the best ever.
Yeah, but he can post too, though.
No,
I mean, that's the thing is he can post up. He can turn left shoulder. He can turn right shoulder. He can shoot a left-hand jump hook coming across the middle. He can pull up going left. He can pull up going right. He can attack off the handle. He can attack off a triple threat. You know, he's built the game without any weaknesses. I think most players, should be thankful that he's not 6'6".
Yeah, right. He'd be Kobe Bryant then, right? He'd be Kobe Bryant. But I always thought that, you know, when his dad played big-time college basketball, played in Australia, your dad played. I mean, there is something inherent, regardless of how much, that comes from the son of a pro player.
Growing up overseas as well.
Well, exactly. In Australia.
Growing up overseas as well. And look at his game being so fundamentally sound, having basic structure. There's a lot to be said for that.
Absolutely. Hey, Kobe, you know, when you take a look at great NBA rivalries, your mind goes more to the past than the present. I'm not sure why that is, but maybe you can enlighten us why rivalries seem to matter more or were more in our minds from yesteryear as opposed to today.
because we can recall where we were when. Right?
Yeah,
the
right.
recollection is always more powerful in retrospect, right? I mean, that's always, you remember where you were when, Magic hit that running hook shot.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Some people can remember where they were when Nelson hit that shot that bounced off the back of the rim and almost touched the rafters and fell back in, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's those memories that create a lasting impact. And even though in today's game, you can look at it and say, there's no real rivalries in today's game. There are, but they're only sink in over time.
So you think the Cleveland Golden State rivalry, because the greats are on opposite sides there, will linger and will
Absolutely.
resonate like that?
Absolutely.
Kobe, you're a father. You've enjoyed that process, but basketball got in the way a lot of that. How do you balance fatherhood and playing at the level you played at?
Yeah, when I was winning championships there, our kids were still relatively young, or I should say babies. In my last few years, they were older and knew that they could really feel my absence. And so what I try to do is try to bring them along for the process. So there were mornings I would wake them up and say, let's go. So we're going. Well, Daddy's going to go train, so let's go.
No kidding.
And I bring them with me. And they be in the gym shooting around or kicking a soccer ball around or hitting a volleyball around. But I felt like it was important as a father to not just tell them about hard work, but they need to see what I'm doing. When you're sleeping, this is what I'm doing here for 3 hours. And so they're a part of the process and feel connected to the process. But traveling and things of that nature is very, very hard because there's been plenty of birthdays that I've missed and school plays that I've missed.
Well, you got to play against some great defenders in the NBA like Draymond Green of Golden State and others. What are some of the things that, I mentioned Draymond Green, that he does as a player that you think separates him from the rest of the defensive guys in the league?
He does his research. He does his homework.
You can tell.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can tell. When you watch him play, he puts himself in position before the offensive player even attacks. And how does he know that? Because he's watching film. He studies. He knows the player's tendencies. And so when you mix in the research to go along with his frame and the quick hands and the foot speed, then you have a defensive player that's a force.
And it's George missing. Clippers trail by 3. And Teague, here we go.
And let's see some of the numbers here for Paul George. Last season, he played outstanding. 5th for free throw percentage, 14th in steals, and he ranked in the top 15 in points per game, one of the league's premier offensive threats.
And yeah, he was money from the charity stripe. Only a handful of players shot a better percentage last season. Tremendous asset. Looking at who's out there now for the Lakers. Lopez comes in for Pau Gasol. And it's Patrick Beverly in for Eric Bledsoe. Nene, he's checked in for the Clippers. Livingston comes in for Trevor Ariza. Ibaka, wide open, he fires. Scored the bucket. He's made 5 so far, shooting a very clean 5 of 7. So, Kobe, in retrospect, what has caught your eye now, a year away from the game, that perhaps didn't resonate when you played the game?
The time required to do it, right? Because when you step away from the game, you realize all the things that you missed. You know, all the taking the kids here, being there, being at home with them, just giving, you know, our newborn baby a bath every single night, like those things, right? But when you're playing, you're so immersed, so obsessed over the game.
That's your job.
That you don't even realize what you're missing. You don't even know. Like, I don't even see it. Wasn't even aware. You know, so having that perspective now is, has changed things.
And a wide open look for Lee. And again, no good by the Clippers. Lakers leading by 6. Over in the corner, Beverly. Off target from 3-point range. The Clippers shooting at a decent 44% clip here. Nene kicks to Lee. Ball's knocked loose. Now here's Beverly. Tight defense on him. It's George on the wing. Back to Beverly. That falls. Nice speed that time from George. And it's an 8-point Laker lead.
Well, I like the first quarter he had. I mean, and I'm loving the second quarter even more. Playing with a lot of momentum right now.
Here's Lee. Feeds it to Livingston. The pass to Tucker. Vucevic against Lopez. Can they get it? It's hauled in by Los Angeles. Ibaka's got 6 rebounds in the game. Well, Kobe, I know you've got to go, but it's been a real treat for you to join us tonight. I know our fans have all enjoyed the broadcast. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me, man. Looking forward to doing this again.
The great Kobe Bryant. And Clark, you've been broadcasting for the entire span of Kobe's playing career. How is it to share a booth with someone who you've watched progress throughout their entire career?
Well, it certainly reminds me that I'm moving into that last block on the demographic charts. I'm in the early third quarter, if you will, that's for sure. But it's a treat because it's wonderful to see how he grew as a player and as a man, and much respect for Kobe Bryant because he's a first ballot Hall of Famer and doing great things off the court too.
Nene against Ibaka. The shot by Nene, no good.
Yeah, really frustrating right now. They just can't seem to stem the tide here.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those days. Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. Sometimes it's just not working for you.
Lopez a screen. Lets it go from 11. That one off the back iron and out. And so it's the Los Angeles Lakers holding on to an 11-point cushion as we get ready to take a break. Thank you, David. We'll be back after halftime for the start of the second half momentarily.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Ernie Johnson here with Shaq and Kenny, and a favorite time of the year as we're halfway. Serge Ibaka had no problems getting going. He had 13 points, 2 steals, and 8 rebounds. And taking a look at the Lakers, Shaq, what'd you think?
Well, it was an unselfish, team-oriented half of basketball. The ball never stopped moving. They're off.
That's it for halftime. Glad.
Well, we're getting back to the action now. It's been a one-team show so far. We'll see if that changes here. Clark, you were a strong free throw shooter when you played. Why do some big men have such a hard time being at least serviceable at the free throw line?
Well, I'm not as big as some of the biggest guys that have the most trouble. Typically, you see guys north of 6'8", 6'9", struggling tremendously from the line in general. And because of that, I think sometimes it's the mechanics of shooting the ball, and big hands can sometimes be a hindrance to that. Oftentimes, it's a matter of how much do you work at it and how soon do you start working at it. A lot of times, big guys tend to focus on their post moves and scoring the ball close to the bucket and not as much as shooting. But you're seeing more and more big guys with sweet strokes, and I think it's a matter of, again, basic fundamentals, mechanics, and then putting in hours and hours and hours of work on it.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of Gatorade for the second half of basketball. Setting the floor for the Clippers. Teague out there at DeRozan. And there's Nerlens Noel. Then there's Jonas Valanciunas. And it's Ariza in at the small forward position. DeRozan passes to Valanciunas. Noel dishes to DeRozan. Back to Noel. Over Ibaka, and he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line. Serge Ibaka picks one up there.
And you can tell that Noel has spent a lot of time working on his shot fake. I mean, he's really skilled at drawing contact and tricking the defense.
He makes 1 of 2 that time. And you look at the Clippers post Chris Paul. The team is still in a position to compete.
I think they had to fill in gaps when players left, but I really like the job they've done overall. I mean, they have good inside and outside presence. Not the same, but they aren't in a horrible spot.
4 on the clock. Here's Bledsoe. It's hauled in by Los Angeles.
They've been the better rebounding team by a healthy margin, but it hasn't been enough.
Yeah, you know, they're hustling and giving a good effort, that's for sure, but unfortunately, the execution has been lacking.
Yeah, getting theirs before the defense can set up.
Perfect execution. That's how you take advantage of a transition opportunity.
There's a screen, and Matthews kicks to George. And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here. That one is on Ariza. Well, one thing about Paul George, outstanding length for a wing. Clark, he's listed at 6'9", but he's grown since he came into the league, hasn't he?
Yeah, we've had debates about that because I'm about 6'8" or so, and I kind of look at him eye to eye, but he feels like he's taller than me, so we'll go with PG on that one. But he's also added some muscle, too, Kevin, and that's helped him at both ends of the floor. He's a lot stronger and able to play through contact as a result of it.
And really, as the three-pointers keep dropping, you get the sense that the frustration is mounting for the defense.
Yeah, and they either have been unwilling or unable to take that shot away.
Well, we've seen that movie a few times, haven't we? An easy bucket in the paint.
Well, listless and lifeless at the defensive end. I mean, especially inside. They've really got to pick up that interior defense.
And the call will be against Jeff Teague. That'll be his second foul of the game. A touch over 2.5 minutes of basketball played here in the third quarter. It's stolen by Ariza.
Great job preventing that ball from coming into the post. Might have been an easy 2 if the defense wasn't there.
Yeah, you know, not every point guard would be able to find an open man right there, but Teague is always looking for the right play.
Bledsoe passes to George. Screen by Ibaka. the stripe. The shot by George, no good. Clippers trail by 7. Stolen by Bledsoe. Now the Lakers on the break. Bledsoe's got the ball. Good for another field goal. Number 5 in the night. 5 for 10 shooting.
He's their go-to guy, and when he shoots the ball like he has today, that's what the scoreboard usually looks like.
Pass to DeRozan. Third quarter action, and just under 3.5 minutes have gone. Out of bounds, Clippers ball as the Clippers keep possession.
All right, a chance to look at the numbers for Teague. Good season for him last year. Last season, he averaged 15 points a game, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds. And his playmaking really stands out, making his teammates better offensively with his terrific passing.
Yeah, he's outstanding at controlling the tempo. I mean, keeps the ball moving, and of course, finds the open man.
Patterson, he's checked in for Los Angeles.
And he just glides to the hoop on his drives. DeRozan's got plenty of force to his game. Don't get me wrong, but he makes everything look so effortless.
3 from Matthews. It's hauled in by Los Angeles. Valanciunas has got 6 rebounds here tonight. DeRozan in the corner. The kick out to Teague. Screened by Valanciunas. Noel with it. Guarded now by Patrick Patterson. Outside DeRozan. 5 to shoot. The Clippers need to get off a shot. Here's Ariza. No good on the shot. A bit long that time. Lakers leading by 7. And George kicks to Gasol. Back to George. Patterson, the screen. Outside Gasol. Throws it down as the official calls the foul. It may be a 3-point play. It's going to be on Nerlens Noel.
And the wherewithal from Gasol there, nailing the shot despite the tough defense all over.
And the Lakers making a change here. Henderson's checked in. And so Doc Rivers has had enough. Timeout.
Well, you know, historically, the Lakers have been a glamour franchise and have been able to attract top-tier free agents. The temptation exists to skip any rebuilding and instead look to reload with new stars. We'll see if that pays dividends going forward.
And Bledsoe has it in the corner. Hits the 3-point bomb. Bledsoe's got 5 points in the quarter. And guys, let's get your take on the hustle stats for Los Angeles.
Their high-energy defensive effort has paid off for them, guys, with more than a few steals over the course of the ball game.
Yeah, and another thing, they've created a lot of turnovers, but they've also been able to convert when they've gotten out in transition.
Lets it go from 14. The shot, no good. Great D that time from Teague. And Coach Walton has said when you build from within, you control your own destiny. What do you think, Clark? Should they build slowly but surely or look to land the big free agent?
Well, I think you do a combination of the two, but slow and steady usually wins the race. I know in this day and age we want everything microwave, but one of the questions for the Lakers is how many of these young guys have real star potential? Who are those guys you can build around? And if you don't see it, the temptation grows stronger to go out and try to find that ready-made star.
Ariza kicks to DeRozan. Clippers moving the ball around. And now here's George, the fast break opportunity. And the foul on Jonas Valanciunas. And that'll be his 3rd foul so far.
And the next one puts him in the bonus.
Yep, they'll be trying to draw that next foul quickly so they can start getting those easy chances at the strike.
Robin Lopez is checked in for Los Angeles. Patrick Beverley comes in for Eric Bledsoe. And the Clippers making a change here as well. Vucevic is checked in. Patterson can't get it to go.
Hard to figure out how he doesn't knock that one down. No defender in sight.
And DeRozan throws it down.
And you want to talk about high-volume scores. Just look at what DeRozan's doing tonight. He's been on a mission, putting his mark on this game in a big way.
Patterson, the screen. Henderson kicks to Beverley. To the inside. Deflects the pass. And it's out of bounds. They say it was was last touched by Vucevic.
So close to getting the steal there, but the deflection equally as effective.
Yeah, refusing to give up anything easy. Solid defense, and I like that attitude.
Looking at who's out there now for the Lakers. Thabo Sefolosha has checked in for Patterson, and it's Green in for Paul George. Clark, a lot of former players at a specific instance when they knew they were special, the way they played the game of basketball. Did you ever have a moment like that where you realized that you could make it as a player?
Yeah, there was a time when that became more realistic to me, Kevin. And I grew up in Cleveland, and during the summers, a lot of the Cleveland Cavaliers would stay in the area and play pickup basketball to stay in shape. And I got a chance to bump heads with a lot of those guys, Jim Jones and the late Terry Furlow, Austin Carr, Bingo Smith, Mike Mitchell. And I was only 15, 16 years old. And while those guys were going at half speed, it gave me the encouragement that I might be able to get to where they were if I continued to work hard and stay healthy. So at 15 or 16, during one of those summers, I began to realize that I might have a chance to realize the dream of being an NBAer.
Green. That shot, no good. Good D by Lee. Livingston dishes to Vucevic. Here's Nene. Rebounded by Sefolosha.
Loved how they guarded that layup. Didn't make it easy, which I think is why he missed it.
They set the pick, and the call will be against Sean Livingston. So that will be his second foul of the game. We're in the bonus, and we'll go to the line to shoot two. The first free throw is good. Pat Beverly, the kind of defender who will give opposing point guards nightmares. I mean, very physical Clark, very persistent. He can just hound someone all night and not give them any room to move.
And Kevin, you hit on it. The key to his defensive prowess is his quickness, his strength, and his tenacity. He gets up into you and dares you to try to get around him. He is the aggressor when he's on the ball defending. And because of that, he's one of the more feared on-ball defenders in the league at the point guard spot.
And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot two.
And one thing you can say about Green, I don't know of too many players who are as dependent on their three-point shot as he is. He needs that shot to be falling for him to make an impact.
And the second free throw, good.
And the Clippers are known as a high-wire act, and rightfully so with their stars. This team is also one that can at times lock it down defensively. I don't think they get enough credit for what they do on that side of the ball.
And here is the shot chart as we see how things are going for DeRozan.
Right now, after looking at that chart, you pretty much can just jog down the court. He gets it in the paint. That just time and time again, he's worked his way in close and made a shot over a defender or found another way to convert. Just great stuff coming from him thus far.
The Clippers not a team known for their defense, but quite often the last few years, it's been the deciding factor for them in games.
Yeah, and I think it starts with the pressure they place on ball handlers. They can throw double teams or pick up far out from the hoop. They've got shot blocking inside to erase mistakes as well.
There's the three. Tucker can't get it to go.
And the great shooters know when they've got enough opening to go for the three. I didn't think it was a bad choice on that possession.
And it's good, 2 points.
Well, this is what he likes to do. Try to break your spirit.
I think he's trying to put this one away, quite honestly. I mean, it feels like he can lay it up against any type of defense, and he can.
More and more we see coaches resting players to keep them from getting overworked. The benefits, Clark, are clear for the players, but is it something that is getting overused?
I don't know if overused is the right word, Kevin. I don't like to see it as much because I think there are other ways you can rest players. Games can be part of your strategy, but how about practices being more a part of how you rest players? It got an awful lot of attention this past season, and for good reason. And I would think the coaches and players will adjust because it's not a good optics for your viewing public and your paying patrons to just arbitrarily do it. I understand it, but I think there's a balancing act that could be performed that would make it not appear as disruptive to the fans as it was this past season.
Serge Ibaka has checked in for Gerald Henderson.
And you know, Beverly is easily one of the most tenacious defenders in the league, an absolute pest of epic proportion. Love his energy. And that's just another mistake. I mean, They've got it on autopilot, and they look totally dejected.
Lakers leading by 18. It's deflected. Stolen by Nene. It's DeRozan with the drive.
And that's how you make a steal count. Turn it into a quick slam at the other end.
It was really a case, it looked like Greg Anthony right there, if I can say so. It was really a case of a great defensive play triggering some instant offense.
Yeah, I remember GA as an irritant, and this guy, much like Greg, creating havoc out there.
And not quite as aggressive from outside as they were in the first half, sticking to the high percentage shots, playing smart with the lead.
That's good from Beverly. And Clark, some great players who can score no matter the situation. With that in mind, who do you think are some of the best finishers right now in a congested lane and a lot of traffic?
Well, there's only one guy on this list for me. I've never seen anybody do the contorting and the finishing from multiple angles against all size of defender that Kyrie Irving does. He is head and shoulders above any other finisher in the league, in my opinion. Nobody has done it like that guy does.
Kick by Vucevic. Outside for Nene. Vucevic to the pass to Livingston. And it's going to be a 3-second call.
And now let's get a look at the numbers for DeRozan. Coming off a terrific season, he put up about 27 points a game, 5 rebounds and 4 assists. And the numbers, while pretty outstanding, I mean, we've now come to expect that from this guy.
Completely in harmony with what his coach is trying to do there. Just a marvelous all-around talent.
Indicative of what we've seen tonight. One team being the aggressor, the other failing to react.
Yeah, and you can tell they feel like they can get inside whenever they want to. I mean, it's been carte blanche, full menu for them, and the defense really not offering any resistance.
And the shot's good from Nene.
Just a positive force right now for these guys, and though his team has fallen a bit short, it's not because of him.
Kicks to Ibaka. Lakers working the ball around now. Dishes to Lopez. Screened by Ibaka. Again, Los Angeles.
How about the screen that frees him up, though, for the jumper?
And Los Angeles guys shooting it quite well in this third quarter, 53%, and the offense is rolling. They get it again. Second chance shot. Here's Nene, and Nene with the stuff.
Really impressive seeing a guy like Vucevic carve up the defense with his peripheral vision and passing. So good at spotting the open man.
About 7 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. And Beverly kicks to Cephalosha. Ibaka, dishes to Cephalosha. The dunk and the foul, a powerhouse move, and he's got a chance for one more at the line. It's on Nene. Free throw good, Cephalosha. We've got 13 seconds left in the third. Now Livingston, and Nene has it in the corner. Over Cephalosha. Oh, and the buzzer beater's good.
And they make sure to get the last shot of the quarter there. Nicely done.
Yeah, excellent execution that time, partner. Don't want to give the opponent any time to get them back.
And so it's Los Angeles, cruising into the quarter break with a 22-point lead. The scoring has been tremendous, and they are shooting lights out with very high accuracy. And we'll be back with you shortly. And now we take a look back to Doc Rivers talking to his team.
The little mistakes are the only reason they got this lead. You knew they were going to come out hard, all right? Even with that, it's more our mistakes that are getting them this lead, all right? We want to attack right here.
That makes a lot of sense. You want to attack every possession you get, and Doc Rivers certainly doesn't want turnovers to derail those efforts.
And guys, it's a fine line between playing aggressive and playing out of control. That's the trap that a coach wants to keep his team from falling into.
Welcome back. Fourth quarter action starting up in what has been a one-sided show. We've got Robin Lopez, Patrick Beverly out there with Matthews. Then it's Ibaka, and it's Cephalosha in at the small forward. That's the Laker 5.
Not his best game, but they're still getting it done collectively.
Tucker the pass to DeRozan. Nailed from three-point land. DeRozan's got the first basket as we get going in the fourth for the Clippers. And the call will be against Sean Livingston. That's his third foul of the game. Now here's Beverly. He's covered by Livingston. Matthews, no one around him, and he can't answer back. The three-pointer offline. Now here's Livingston, guarded closely. Picked by Vucevic. Up off the screen, and DeRozan throws it down.
I love how Vucevic gives up his body to screen for his teammates. And that's indicative of the total team player that he is.
And Beverly kicks to Ibaka. He feeds it to Sefolosha. Beverly wide open. A three-pointer is right on target. Beverly's got 9 points here in the second half. There's a screen by Noel. And Tucker kicks to DeRozan. And DeRozan throws it down.
That's just unselfish basketball by Tucker, making the extra pass to set up his teammate.
And the call will be against Sean Livingston. That's his fourth foul of the contest.
And that fourth foul, guys, might force him to scale back the aggression from a defensive standpoint. He does not need, nor does the team need, number 5.
Looking at who's out there now for the Lakers. Pau Gasol is checked in for Lopez. Paul George comes in for Sefolosha. Eric Bledsoe is subbed in for Patrick Beverly. T kicks to DeRozan. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
And really, DeMar DeRozan is a master at what he calls body hunting. That ability to just kind of draw fouls. I think he and James Harden actually are the guys that have really kind of set the tone for how to create those opportunities to get to the line.
Los Angeles making a switch here. Valanciunas is checked in. And the shot falls short this time.
They've been the better rebounding team by a healthy margin, but it hasn't been enough.
Yeah, you know, they're hustling and giving a good effort, that's for sure, but unfortunately, the execution has been lacking.
Noel, a screen on Bledsoe. Makes it off the glass. And now that's 35 points for DeMar DeRozan. And DeMar DeRozan, always, Greg, among the league leaders in free throw attempts.
And when you look at him, 6'7", 220 pounds with tremendous athleticism, he has got all the tools. Beyond, though, that attack mentality, he's a savvy basketball player. Those little shot fakes, his footwork helped this guy live at the line. And what's interesting about Ibaka, he's played basketball internationally ever since joining the NBA back in 08. In fact, he won a silver medal with Spain in 2012.
Fourth quarter keeps moving right along. 3 minutes gone so far. Outside DeRozan. And there's the foul. It goes on Serge Ibaka. That will be foul number 5 on him.
Yeah, and that's number 5. One more, and he is going to be done for the day.
Noel down low. Defended by Ibaka.
And speed and effort level, 2 things that make Ibaka an outstanding defender.
Bledsoe kicks to Ibaka, and stolen by Jeff Teague. DeRozan with it. Now guarded by Bledsoe. He muscles it in through the contact, and they call the foul. And he's on his way to the free throw line.
Boy, he's making it look really easy right now. I expect them to continue to run the offense through him until the defense makes them change plans.
And really no other way to put it, but the Lakers with that dramatic front office change last season around that deadline and new big name leadership. The hope is that they can escape from what's been an awfully rocky patch here of Lakers history.
And the turmoil for the Lakers up top has certainly been fodder for the newspapers in Southern California.
Yeah, aborted takeover attempts, infighting, court battles. I mean, this has been a soap opera. But one thing is certain, in order to be successful as a franchise, you need everybody on the same page.
George against Ariza. And it's George finishing it off.
And George is very capable at knocking down difficult shots. I mean, because of his size and stroke and ball handling and his added strength, he's able to shoot over good defense and knock them down.
Takes the 13-footer. That one wide left.
That's what they want. A good look from the mid-range game. Hey, but unfortunately, they came up empty.
And Matthews kicks to Gasol. And he could not get that one to go. A lot of contact, and he'll go to the line for two. It's on Jeff Teague.
And Gasol is a guy who can do a multitude of things well. I mean, he scores it, rebounds it, passes it, just an all-around talent.
And he's good on the second.
And Pau Gasol, one of the most skilled 7-footers this league has ever seen. Whether it's the low post, high post, flaring off picks, you want the ball in his hands.
And they double up DeRozan. Back to Teague. A 3-ball. And the Clippers miss again. Lakers leading by 20. Now, here's George. He kicks it to Bledsoe. Back to George. The dish now to Matthews. That falls. Nice speed that time from George. George has got his 6th assist on the night. The Clippers have gone 5 for 9 from the field in the final quarter so far. And Pau Gasol, a very good perimeter shooter, starting to stretch his range out beyond that three-point arc.
Yeah, his face-up game is becoming more and more prominent. Working from that elbow, he's become more of a triple threat. He can shoot it, drive it, and pass at a high level.
Screen by Ibaka. Pass to Gasol. It's stolen by DeRozan. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2.
Well, you knew the Clippers would be hit hard in free agency. Losing both Paul and Redick kind of changes the outlook of the team. But still, I think they're going to be solid. And one that I expect to make the postseason, but I don't think that we can label them as a contender.
Boy, DeRozan is a treat to watch. This guy is athletic, and he throws down some monster dunks. This dude is sick at the rim.
And the rejection by Noel. He dishes it to Teague. The feed to Ariza. It's a nice passing here by Los Angeles. Teague drives in. And 2 free throws coming up. Unable to get that one to go with all the contact. And Greg with the moves. The era of Lob City, it looks like it's officially over.
Yeah, and it was a fun run. But the team just, one, couldn't stay healthy, and they had some bad luck, let's face it, in the postseason. Entertaining group to watch, no doubt about it, but now we start the new era in Clipperland.
Good looking screen by Gasol. Bledsoe kicks to Gasol. The shot by George, wide open. Good, and the assist goes to Gasol. And that's 17 points for Paul George. Teague dishes to Noel. Count it! And he'll have a chance for a 3-point play. Ibaka, and so he's picked up his final foul, and he will sit for the rest of this game. Lopez, he's checked in for Serge Ibaka.
And, you know, the 2016-17 season was one of the best for Jeff Teague in his time in the league. Had to feel good for him performing at such a high level in his hometown of Indy.
Outside, George. And another 3 for the Lakers.
He's flipped the script here in this half, shooting a much higher percentage from the field.
Teague against Bledsoe. Ariza kicks to DeRozan. And DeRozan throws it down.
You can't say enough about his individual performance. I don't think you can overstate it. I mean, even if the all-around team effort's been lacking, this guy's been on top of things.
And you remember, Teague revealed at the end of the 2015-16 season that he'd been limited by a torn patella tendon.
Yeah, and part of what makes him special is his explosiveness, and he needs that to be his best. Really, any player does. He's a player whose strength, I think, is attacking and playing downhill and getting himself to the foul line.
Here's Valanciunas, and it's Valanciunas finishing it off.
Oh, fellas, that was a vicious two-hand monster slam.
Guys, I don't think there was anyone who could have stopped him on that one.
Well, guys, I'm glad they didn't try because I don't want anybody to get hurt out there.
Really starting to attack on the interior here, showing a much more physical presence here in the second half. Yeah, and luckily they've got terrific depth at that position. If there's one spot on the floor where they can afford to lose somebody, that would probably be it.
Vucevic checked in for Nene. And the NBA has tinkered with the All-Star voting in recent years. Fans no longer get 100% of the say for the starters. Clark, how do you feel about that change?
I like it. I mean, again, the fans desire to be involved and should have an opportunity to be engaged in the voting because they're so important to the success and popularity of the league. So I like the fans having a piece of the voting. 100% is far too much, so I think the fact that you've got it weighted between fans and those who follow the league closely, along with coaches, is about the right blend to me.
Bledsoe against Teague. Here's DeRozan. The kick out to Teague. Good. And it's DeRozan picking up the assist. DeRozan's got 3 assists now in this one. On the wing, George. Outside, Gasol. And George, here we go. That shot is good. He has made 8 while missing only 4. That's 67% shooting. DeRozan passes to Teague, and there's the foul. It goes on Wesley Matthews. That's his 3rd foul so far. Bonus situation in effect, so we'll head to the free throw line for 2.
And you know, guys, early in his career, Jeff Teague was more of a scoring point guard. As his career has continued, he's gotten much better at surveying the court and creating opportunities for his teammates.
Bledsoe kicks to George. Outside for Bledsoe. And again, Los Angeles with the triple.
He's starting to heat up from outside. That's his 2nd this half.
Los Angeles calls timeout. And the Lakers, Greg, have acquired some intriguing young talent. Do you see this group blossoming into elite status?
I mean, there's still some question marks. Injuries have been an issue. I do see some all-star potential for some of their young fellas. Superstar potential, though, tougher to say. They've got something to build on, though, and that's key.
The Clippers shooting straight 49% from the field. Teague kicks to Valanciunas. DeRozan against George. DeRozan's shot is off. Passes it to Bledsoe. Lopez against Valanciunas. Unloads from 9. Again, Los Angeles. Here's Teague. Well, we know just how athletic the NBA has become since its inception. Clark, even from when you played, just how much faster and stronger has the game become?
I would say if we were going to try to put a percentage on it, I think it's grown 60-70% in terms of athleticism. And a lot of it is attributable to the training advances that have been made in sports science and sports medicine and sports performance. And that's benefited and aided the players greatly. And then you have players that have really bought into nutrition and year-round maintenance of their bodies and taking advantage of this technology to enhance performance. And then it becomes a herd mentality. More and more of the guys are doing it, and more of them are benefiting from this enhanced training. So I'd say it's at least 70% better than 30 years ago.
Oh, I love that dish down low.
Bledsoe dishes to Lopez. Gasol, a screen on Teague. Here's Bledsoe, and the rejection by Valanciunas. And he's able to get it back. And out of bounds as Los Angeles gains possession.
And as we head to the final buzzer here, a crushing blowout, big-time dominance, and this will go in the record books as a gaudy win for the Lakers.
As one-sided as it gets today, you know, there were some dominant moments in about every facet of this game for that team.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, it's hard to think of what didn't go right for them. Game planning by the coaches, execution by the players, everything was just on target.
And it'll go down as their first official win of the new year.
And they'll take the win tonight, setting the tone in the first matchup of this 4-game season series.
And it will be a fight, Greg. When you see an opponent that many times, it's inevitable that those games take on a little extra added meaning for the players.
And what a tremendous standout performance it was for George.
You have to focus on the steals he came up with. They were huge factors in the end result.
Brandon Jennings, he's checked in for the Lakers. And Los Angeles making a change here as well. Valanciunas, he's checked in for Vucevic.
You know, leaving somebody that wide open is not prudent. I mean, you got to expect to get burned when you put that kind of effort forward.
And Patterson kicks to Jennings. Gets to the rim for 2 with the D all over him. And the Lakers lead by 19. Feeds to Valanciunas. There's the pass to Tucker. That 3 off the mark. And the Lakers have possession. The biggest lead of the game was 24 points. Now here's Jennings. He's covered by Livingston. And here's Jennings. And so it's the Lakers taking care of business here. They won this game going away. They were the better basketball team by far tonight.
And you got to commend this sort of dominance, particularly here at home. It's a great feeling when you play almost a perfect game and to have that crowd be so pumped up.
All right, David, great job. Thanks so much. That concludes the first game of the NBA season. For David Aldridge, Greg Anthony, and Clark Kellogg,